gearing up towards the fantasy playoffs, and we know now that this is the time where everything makes a difference. We're either going to be the work we do now is either going to crown us fantasy champions in January, or it's going to leave us ruining our mistakes and lack of chutzpah and lack of energy to get there.
It's literally kill the Giants season in one kick, and then the next day he was cut.
Yeah, and it's a strange one, right? Because you're just sitting there thinking, like, what more could he have done?
Yeah.
How do you overcome that? Like, in terms of, yeah, obviously, I know what more he could have done. He could have made the kicks, right? Point after attempts. But he wasn't really put in a great position to succeed to start with. And, you know, all these people that chime on about it's kicking an extra point, it's, you know, it's easy to do, and, you know, it should be automatic, it's your job. And I get there's an element of that is true. But it is sad from a UK and Ireland NFL perspective that we have lost someone who was starting to get a bit of traction in the NFL because of the fact that he has missed kicks. But then at the same point, you have to be a little bit ruthless in some parts of the job. It is a ruthless business. When you got someone like Younghoe Koo behind who has done a reasonable job in the NFL, you're not going to get too many great opportunities, and it's a tricky one. But for him, and
my only thing would be is that does it send out the right message though? You're like, one mistake and you're gone. So like it's potentially putting future kickers under that extra bit of pressure as well, knowing if they make one mistake that they could be gone.
But that's not true of every organization. I'll give you an example. Trace McLaughlin this year started the season pretty terribly. He missed extra points. He missed field goals. You know, it's a guy who's paid a lot of money for the kicker position. He's in the top 5-6, I believe, at the position.
Yeah.
Don't ask me if that's slightly off, but I don't feel he's too far away from that. And, you know, he started badly and then he kicked a 65-yard field goal outside, which is the longest in history. And
it feels like he's being used as a scapegoat a little bit for the bad coaching for the game in the last 15 minutes or so of that game.
And the coaching was horrific, right?
But he's basically saying it's not my fault, it's the kicker's fault. And he's trying to push, instead of taking ownership of it, he's trying to push it onto somebody else.
But this is why I talk about this over and over again. Bad organizations continue to be bad because they do make these sorts of decisions. Now, I'm not saying it's the wrong decision either. Like but at the end of the day, you've got experienced kickers behind you. You know, you have to point after attempts is something that should be fairly automatic.